a few days ago, President Trump sent out a legendary tweet calling out Tim Walz and calling him retarded. And then the press asked Trump about that, and Trump basically doubled down. This is the tweet right here. It has 75 million views. So down here, he says, the seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing either through fear or incompetence or both, while the worst congresswoman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab, and who probably came into the USA illegally, and that you are not allowed to marry your brother. Good Lord, but he just went ham. And 75 million views on this. I responded right there. This is an all-time tweet from Trump. And so Tim Walz responded to this right here. Let's hear what Tim Walz has to say.
Dozens of people of East African descent have been charged, convicted, and sentenced for stealing more than $1 billion in taxpayer money from government programs during COVID. As you know, Governor, that is more than Minnesota spends each year to run its Department of Corrections. So I want to give you a chance to respond to this. Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. Those people are going to jail. We're doing everything we can. But to demonize an entire community on the actions of a few, it's lazy.
Now, he also responded directly to President Trump, and he says the president is unwell. Release the MRI results.
Well, here we got a guy on Thanksgiving where we spent time with our families. We ate, we played Yahtzee, we cheered for football or whatever. This guy is apparently in a room ranting about everything else. This is not normal behavior. It is not healthy. And presidents throughout time have released a couple things. They've released their tax returns, not Donald Trump, and they've released their medical records, not Donald Trump. And look, the MRI is one thing, but I think what's most concerning about this is, as your viewers out there are listening, has anyone in the history of the world ever have an MRI assigned to them and have no idea what it was for, as he says? So look, it's clear the president's fading physically. I think the mental capacity, again, ranting, crazily at midnight on Thanksgiving about everything else. There's reasons for us to be concerned. This is a guy that randomly says the airspace over Venezuela is closed. He's ruminating on if you could win a nuclear war. Look, this is a serious position. It's the most powerful position in the world. And we have someone at midnight throwing around slurs that demonize our children. At the same time, he's not solving any of the problems. So I'm deeply concerned that he is incapable of doing the job.
MRI, you say, Tim Walz? Well, President Trump released his MRI results. Guess what, Tampon Tim? Guess what? One more time for the people in the back.
I just feel like a young man. I'm so young. I can't believe it. I'm the youngest person. I am a young, vibrant man. I look at Joe. I don't know about him. I don't know. Macho man, yeah.
Yeah, so Tim Walz, bad news for you, buddy. President Trump is he is peak physical male humanity. You cannot compete with that. But guess what? Let's not forget what Tim Walz said a few months ago, ladies and gentlemen. This is what Tim Walz said about hoping to wake up one day and hear that President Trump has died.
You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things. And although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news.
The guy is completely fucking unhinged. Completely unhinged. That is insanely disgusting behavior right there. Insane. That is Tim Walz right there. With everything that's surrounding him right now, and there is a lot surrounding him with Minnesota, with a lot of the corruption going on. we have the View running cover from him. Hang on just a minute. Here's the View running cover for him right here.
Welcome back. So you know who is attacking Minnesota Governor Tim Walz over Somali Americans in Minnesota who were convicted of defrauding a COVID-era government program for hundreds of millions of dollars. He called the governor a slur for people with intellectual disabilities. And here's what Tim Walz responded.
The seriously blank governor.
Good Lord, man. He just called him retarded. It's not that serious, and your fake outrage is going to get you nowhere. No one has sympathy.
Of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing either through fear, incompetence, or both.
Using that term is just so damaging. It's hurtful.
What?
We have fought
No,
3
it's not.
decades to get this out of our schools. Kids know better than to use it. But look, this is what Donald Trump has done. He's normalized this type of hateful behavior and this type of language. And mainly, look, at first, I think it's just because he's not a good human being. But secondly, to distract from his incompetency.
I think there's something wrong with him. Absolutely, sure. You have a problem with it? You know what? I think there's something wrong with him.
Well, so here's what's interesting, because if you're upset about fraud, in 2018, a judge ruled that you know who had to pay $25 million.
Okay, I gotta interrupt this for a second because I'm just seeing this now. So I bookmarked this tweet right here from Minnesota DHS. So Eric retweets right here. Holy crap. This post from Minnesota Department of Human Services employees accusing Tim Walz of covering up massive fraud has 22 million views. This dude is screwed. It only gets worse. Guess what? The Minnesota DHS Twitter account has been suspended. It's no longer there. Holy shit. I just noticed this. So the account has been suspended. What? How is that possible? Yep, 23 minutes ago. Here we go, right here. Minnesota Department of Human Services employees account has been suspended again. Can we get this fixed, Elon? I can personally attest to this group's legitimacy. These are real whistleblowers trying to shine a light on the fraud in Minnesota. Wow. Very interesting how suddenly, because that tweet got so much traction, now suddenly the account has been suspended. So, I mean, the Gateway Pundit covered this. Minnesota scandal explodes. Over 480 DHS employees accuse Governor Walz of orchestrating massive cover-up. And there's a lot of people that are just talking about this account. This right here looks like the Minnesota DHS page was taken down. This is a screen recording I saved this morning. So right here is a screen recording of the account. It says, so the bio said, we are 480 current staff of the Minnesota Department of Human Services, DHS. We work with goals and public transparency. That account has been around since April of 2023. April of 2023, that account has been around. And now suddenly it's being flagged as impersonation. I don't know, man. Seems very, very, the timing seems sus. And like I said, I see people all day long lying about President Trump. And those accounts are still up. So this is some of the tweets that were up there. Pretty bad. So yeah, we'll see. So if the account was suspended for impersonation, like, I mean, I can understand that to some extent. But I don't know, man. It just seems, it seems inconsistent with what we've seen from other stuff on Twitter, but I don't know what the actual, you know, I guess the rule is for impersonating accounts or whatever. So right here, the unofficial Minnesota Department of Human Services employees account has been suspended again. I don't know what again means, so I guess this is multiple times now. The account had been detailing fraud occurring within Minnesota DHS, especially as it relates to immigrants and COVID-era schemes, and revealing whistleblower retaliation. So, interesting. The plot thickens.